Vols lose a couple of transfer portals. Go ahead and give me their names, and I'll tell you what I've heard about what they lost.
Yeah, so Tennessee over the weekend lost 2 more players to the transfer portal. They lost Jordan Matthews at defensive back and Jalen Smith at linebacker. Both happened on Friday. That's 3 and 4 number transfer portal loss number 3 and number 4. It happens just as the transfer portal opens today. Because as I have talked about at length, college football powers that be have decided that December should be a time when people who cover the sport don't get to sleep. And
the loss of Jordan Matthews, well, frankly, both of these guys, I think are a significant loss. And the way we've judged this to this point is who's Tennessee lost to this point? Khalifa Keith, the running back, and
no, they've lost. Excuse me, they lost 5.
Bison
They have lost Bison Lang, Khalifa Keith, Caleb Webb, Jordan Matthews, Jalen Smith.
Okay, let's so the first 3. We'll get into Jordan and Jalen. Okay, so the first 3, I get it. Keith was at best going to play 10 plays a game in some sort of power running back thing that they were going to unveil. Are they really that worried about that when they're trying to get a quarterback ready to play, offensive tackles ready to play? I don't think he felt like he was a priority, and I totally get it. Not surprised. Bison Lang, I thought was a questionable pickup when they got him. I'm not surprised, and I'm not trying to be mean to the young man. And then Caleb Webb, I thought, here's a guy who is kind of on that fence. He shows up to your place. He doesn't hit the ground running. And by ground running, I'm talking about basically what Mike Matthews did. Okay. I think it's become pretty apparent that it takes some time to get used to this offense. I don't care if you play offensive line or if you play receiver, Caleb. I think it takes some time. But I thought Caleb Webb could be a guy that would contribute for 2 years. I think the same about Jordan Matthews. And I'm close to saying the same thing about Jalen Smith. So I'm going to tell you these are 3 guys they did not want walking out the door, because that's where I ultimately have my scale. If a guy can show up, prepare himself for 2 years, and be a 2-year contributor, that's a win in high school recruiting. But the kids don't want to stay that long, so sometimes you don't find out. In other words, I think the last 3 they've lost have been significant.
Okay, so
not huge, but just you might look to the sideline and think, man, this would be the time when Caleb Webb would help us out. I don't think you would have ever said that with Bison Lang or Khalifa Keith.
Well, I missed on Jordan Matthews. I thought Jordan Matthews was actually a potential star when Tennessee got him. And it looks like Ricky Gibson beat him out, and they went and got Jermod McCoy. Wish him all the best. I think, there's something to be said about the fact that maybe he committed just based on, shall we say, NIL money, Dave. I've heard some reports on that. But I think with Jalen Smith, I'll say this.
Matthews?
I'm sorry?
With Matthews?
Yeah, Matthews, I think, committed to Tennessee based on NIL money.
Yeah, I've heard that rumor that it was an NIL decision, but nevertheless, I mean, that's part of recruiting, so.
Yeah, exactly. So I
hesitate to say you would make an NIL decision if Sports Illustrated called and said, hey, how about a $750,000 a year salary?
Well, I could probably do that and do this still, so,
It's good. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I think that Jalen Smith, Tennessee's picked up 4 linebackers in this recruiting class. So let's think about Tennessee's future real quick. Arian Carter and Jeremiah Thielander are both young, and both are going to be there for the next 2 years.
I think Arian could be a 1 more year and done gone.
Okay, Arian's 1 more year. Jeremiah Thielander's at least 2 more years. On top of that, they have 4 linebackers coming in: Christian Gass, Jaden Harmon, Brendan Ains, and Jaden Perlow. 3 of them are, depending on the service you use, are a variety of 4 stars in Gass, Harmon, and Perlow. When you take that into account, I think Jalen Smith is seeing that these guys are just going to beat me. And so I actually think that's the biggest reason he hit the portal, is I think that he sees the linebackers coming in. Now, I'll say what's kind of interesting and kind of weird is that you used to spend a little more time because you wanted to see how a lot of early enrollees, players who are enrolled, they could take part in bowl practices now. And so you could see them in bowl practice and see if they were going to supplant you. Like, for instance, one of the biggest reasons I was high on Nico, Taven Jackson hit the portal like that when Nico arrived. And everything I had heard, and I think you had heard the same thing, Dave, this was during the December Bowl practices for the Orange Bowl against Clemson 2 years ago. All reporting I had heard was that Nico was just blowing everybody away during that time in practice. And I think that sent Taven Jackson to the portal. I'm surprised if Jalen Smith did it for the current crop of incoming recruits because of the fact that he hasn't seen them practice yet. But at the same time, you know, if you're Tennessee, Dave, let's throw this out. Bowl practices aren't like bowl practices anymore. This is a playoff practice. You know what I mean? So you're not working with young guys. You know, the last couple of years, bowl practices, you're kind of working with young guys, aren't you? Just to see your future. Now you're actually. And
along those lines, I mean, is it in poor taste to announce at any time? I mean, you have to announce sometime, but your team still. I mean, what if 2 linebackers went down and they said, Jalen, we gotta have you. Oh, I gotta get out of that transfer portal there. I mean, is that not weird to me?
Well,
I mean, to you?
Here's the problem. The transfer portal window is open at the same time the college football playoff is going on.
Yes, that is the problem. So, way to go there, Caleb. That's what I was trying to point out.
Yeah, you don't have a choice if you're a player and you need to transfer, though. What do? Like, do you say, oh, I'm gonna look out for the best interest of my team, and then I'll stay, but then the window closes, the playoff's still going, and you're now stuck with the school for another spring, basically. When that's kind of, Dave, I got to be honest. Can you blame the player? If they know they're not going to play and they want to look somewhere, they'd rather go ahead and transfer in the winter so they can do spring workouts with the school they're going to go to. Well, they kind of have to transfer during the college football playoff, don't they?
I guess, but you'd have to agree with me. It feels a little icky, doesn't it?
It does, but blame the NCAA. Don't blame the players. And I can't even blame the NCAA. What is anybody supposed to do? Unfortunately, for most colleges, semesters end in December. All right, I got a quick fix for it, Dave. Ready?
Yes.
In the first semester in January. And have I don't know, don't actually in the semester, maybe end it in November. I don't know. Don't end it in December. Can you do that? Can you do that with colleges?
Are you talking about moving around the class schedule to better accommodate college football? No.
Yes, I am talking about moving around the class schedule to better accommodate college football. No, or here's the other part. Here's the other part. And this is the other big one. And I got to make this clear. Don't start spring classes until after the national championship ends.
Okay, stop. The UPS store, Hardin Valley, helping individuals and small businesses, wide range of products and services locally owned and operated. The link is right down below. The Hardin Valley UPS store. Okay. So what do we do next? What if Christmas gets in the way? Should we move Christmas as well?
I mean, basically.
What if seriously, I'm being dead serious. If the best TV window for most viewers is 7 p.m. on Christmas Eve and 7 p.m. on Christmas Day, should we just rearrange our entire schedule and not celebrate the night before Christmas? And I'm sure Quincy will be very disappointed. And he's just 7 months old, and his first Christmas is going to be watching college football and not opening presents because you think that you should just move Christmas.
Move Christmas for football. I mean, look, in all seriousness, I at the root of it, I complained about the NCAA calendar, Dave. This one, there's no one's fault. There's no way around the fact that the coaching carousel, the transfer portal, and the playoff are going to be around the same time. Is there? You can't get around it, can you? There's no way to fit. You can't fix anything with regards to that.
No, you can't.
And so,
go ahead.
The one thing you could do is move the early signing period. When you got all that going on, the early signing day is just insane. But I get the playoff, the transfer portal, and the what was the other thing I said? The coaching carousel. There's nothing you can do to change that. It's just naturally going to fall in December now. So my only option, maybe make the transfer portal window a little later. Because I would assume, Dave, that I don't know, maybe make it later to where okay, once you're in the Final Four, so I guess early January before classes start, but after the first round of the playoffs end. So
I've always thought the first the first Wednesday in August and the first Wednesday in February.
Okay. Yeah, no, for
Because
the
the
signing
first
day, that's
Wednesday-
perfect.
Yeah,
That's perfect.
yeah. Because the first Wednesday for signing day, and what that would do is for the Cooper Mazes of the world, they know they're going to Tennessee. They have their scholarship there. Now, some guys it may make lazy down the line, so that wouldn't be Cooper, but you do need to work during your senior year and continue to improve. But the thing is, with the transfer portal, you could boot them after a year. So you sign the guys that are all Vol through and through. Now, I was told by somebody in Tennessee's recruiting office 15 years ago that this would destroy Tennessee recruiting because of the advantage that they had in bringing players to games, that was a big selling point. But my take is if you did it on the first Wednesday of August, you're only getting the diehards. You're only getting the guy that grew up in Knoxville, that's dad played for Tennessee, and then you take maybe 10 off the table, not 20 like they are in the early signing period now. So you don't have to worry about recruiting those guys. You focus on the next signing period, which is the first week in February. Boom, that's how I'd fix it.
I think that's a perfect fix. I agree. And I'm going to fix the transfer portal.
Exhausting being so right all the time.
I'm going to fix the transfer portal too with you at the same time.
Yes.
Just have the transfer portal. Just one, don't make the players go to class when they're playing football during that period. Just don't have, they don't take classes during the fall. So they don't have to wait till the semester ends to transfer.
I'm fine with them not going to class right now. I mean, the janitor doesn't have to go to class. They're paid employees now. You don't make other people go to class that work there. The support staff on all the different places, I'm sure they've got an HVAC person. He doesn't have to go to class. I mean, none of these guys have to go to class. They're paid employees, for the love of goodness.
Yeah. No, I agree.
What are we talking about? If they have to go to class, then it's just then the hypocrisy will not die.
It won't. And this is during football season. No class. Problem solved. That way you don't have to wait till the semester ends to transfer. You can transfer at any point during the season.
Let me ask all of you. Can we make this a poll question? I would rather my favorite Vol recuperate, because I'm telling you, there's times I talk to Cooper Mays, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Integrity Matters, cityheatandair.com. And I feel like I'm talking to a guy who has just been hit by a truck. And we've moved it from Sundays where we used to do it because of so many night games. And yeah, I mean,
how about I'd rather my favorite Vol spend the week going to class or recuperating from the last game.
I love it. I love it.
And I'd rather them recuperate from the last game. I'll just be honest with you.